So let me check if I got this right. We have a game called Stellar Blade. It's cool, it's interesting, it's fresh, it's hot, and it's not a humiliation ritual for the player base. It's not needlessly political pandering. And then we have the left that has collectively lost its mind for the fifth time this day. Okay, yeah, just checking.
Stellar Blade's PC release has really done a number on the video game journalists because they can't seem to figure out that this is simply a good game and that's why it's successful because they're saying that only
Most of the time, they can't even figure out the correct bathroom, so, I mean, this could be challenging for them.
thirsty players are the reason why it's made so much money and why so many people are playing it, and that it's only outperforming many PlayStation ports because of sex appeal. I have a few different
It's hot! It's too hot! Why did you make it so hot? Why did you make it so fun? The Dragon Age Mailguard should have been better. Concord should have been the next big thing. Sound of Midnight was a masterpiece. Don't you understand this, you bigot? Yeah, I don't, sadly. And I think my life is better because I don't.
things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live
Like the video now, or you will transition.
streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, first of all, I want to start this video off with saying that should not be seen as a negative thing. That a product sells well because its audience is interested in it. It's really
By the way, this is not even their point. You see, these people have been using the same playbook for years now, and it's all been solved, okay? There are no more riddles left. Them actually calling Stellar Blade being successful because it has mods and the character is hot is just literally naming and shaming. All they're trying to do is gaslight you into believing that, oh, I shouldn't actually like this. The character is hot. I should not like this. That's what they want to do. They want to gaslight you or name and shame you into, doing what they believe is right.
not rocket science to see how this company made so much money from all of their games, not even just Stellar Blade. They are catering to a specific audience, and that should not be seen as a negative thing. Who cares if this game actually only sold because it has sex appeal? If that's what people want to consume for content, that
Exactly.
should not be seen as a negative thing. It is an M-rated game for adults that adults are buying. End of story, period. Of course, they've also been freaking out about adults downloading adult mods for this title, but they're also
Heavens to Betsy.
completely ignoring why this game is so special. And sure, sex appeal is definitely one major reason why people definitely paid attention to it initially. Having a gorgeous female character, really a gorgeous cast in general, the male and the female characters, with the really cool action combat that they highlighted, that right there is a reason why so many people would buy it. But it's good beside that. That's not the only thing this game has going for it. It's got a really great story. It's got super smooth, fantastic combat. The soundtrack is honestly one of the best that I've ever heard. You've got such a big cast of characters. There's lots of twists and turns, and sure, you can kind of tell where the story is going and what characters are the most important in the story from early on, but it's
Who
still good
cares?
because of other reasons, not just
Also, a predictable story doesn't mean it's a bad story. Most of the modern day best stories are actually pretty much just rehashes from other things. Clair Obscure Expedition, I mean, Clair Obscure Expeditions Le Très is, well, it's nothing special in most ways. It's kind of predictable. It's just well done. It doesn't matter if something is predictable, something's not predictable. As long as you just make it good, that's all we care about at the end of the day. It's very simple, really.
sex appeal, but it seems the access media can't understand that because they're posting articles like this Stellar Blade, why it thrived on PC, and of course, they don't want to paint this in a positive light. In an age where the digital shelves of PC gaming are increasingly stocked with once exclusive console treasures, a peculiar phenomenon has captured the industry's
Once exclusive console treasures. Jesus.
attention. While many PlayStation blockbusters
You know why the once exclusive console treasures came to PC? That's where the money's at. That's where the players at, okay? Never never get it twisted. Consoles are 10 steps below PC. Always.
Busters have made the leap to Steam, often landing with a quiet thud rather than a triumphant roar. One title has defied expectations, rocketing to the top of the charts, Stellar Blade. The only expectations this defied were
Yeah, did it really defy expectations? I expected Stellar Blade to have a stellar launch, honestly, on PC. I think most people expected that. Why why wouldn't you? Like, why wouldn't you expect it to do good on PC? Now, granted, did I expect how much is it? Like almost 200k? Did I expect that much? Nah, I expected like 100k to 150k. But you know, it's still that's still amazing.
the expectations from the Access Media that this game was going to fail. I think anybody who played it on PlayStation 5 knew that it was a fantastic game and knew that it would be successful when it came to PC. And hell, even months ago when I was talking about the eventual release of this, I had said that it was most likely going to be a major success because there were a lot of people who wanted mods. People who last year were talking about how excited they were that it was going to come to PC one day because they'd be able to mod it. So I don't think that it really defied
Damn boy.
expectations. It says, though, this isn't just another successful port, it's a case study in how a confluence of factors, some predictable and others niche, can propel a game beyond the perceived reach of its console native peers. For years, PC gamers have watched with a mix of envy and anticipation as critically acclaimed PlayStation titles eventually grace their platforms. It's like they're trying.
Bro, what is this article? Oh, the PC players, they were all oh, they're always envious. Most exclude listen, if we literally exclude GTA 6, there is not a single game in all of the next 10 years in consoles that people are expecting and want on PC. Except that there's nothing. There's nothing even exclusive. What is this article? The person who wrote this is definitely batting for a team.
To shame people who are on PC, like, oh man, these people have been begging for these games. They've been waiting. A mix of envy and anticipation. It's
You know why they have been waiting? Because buying a PlayStation is fucking stupid. If you have PlayStation, you know you're fine. I'm just saying it in the general sense, okay? Buying a PlayStation because you're desperate to play a game and you're poor, that's pretty stupid. But most people are not going to buy a PlayStation. That's just the reality of it. Most people are not going to buy an Xbox, okay? Even though I technically own a Xbox here because I have a pen, and obviously pens are Xboxes, as everyone knows nowadays. And my pen is black, by the way, if you didn't know. Um, it just makes sense.
pretty pathetic the way that they're wording this feels kind of weird. It says, though, the promise was immense, a fresh wave of
Yeah, this article feels so damn personal.
big budget experiences for the ever growing pile of shame in their digital libraries. But it goes on to talk about how, yes, Stellar Blade comfortably outpaces heavyweights like Ghost of Tsushima, Director's Cut at 77,000, God of War 73,000, Spider Man Remastered 66,000, and the last.
Well, God of War is, to a degree, an extremely cuckoldy simulator nowadays, okay? Gone are the glory days of God of War where you have a quick time event of abandoning your child. God, those were the blessed days. Now you need to be a cuckoldish father for your child that's clearly going to turn out very gay.
Last of Us Part 1 at 36,000. And it's also important to note that as of making this video on Sunday, it's sitting
Ooh.
at 192,078 for the all time peak. And it has really only gone up every single day. So I'm curious to see over the next week or two what it will end up being. I think it'll probably get over 200,000, but I don't think that it's going to get to like three or.
It's hard to say. I mean, it released already on what was it? Sunday, Saturday it released. So that should kind of be peak. Unless people are seriously talking nonstop good about this game for, you know, the rest of the week. it's gonna be hard to say if it's gonna breach 200k. I also think it's gonna breach 200k, but I mean, 300k is a bit much.
or 350 or anything. The article, though, talks about how most fundamentally is the quality of the PC port. It is actually a very well done PC port. I think that it is perfectly optimized. That is very
Nice.
rare in this day and age when so many companies just pump out mediocre products and have baked products. So I do think that that is a big reason why it's also done so good. And it says, beyond the technical prowess, Stellar Blade has a distinct identity that resonates deeply with a particular segment of the gaming populace, described as a third person hack and slash
Yes, it's called non-potatoes. Very cool.
with essential parries and dodges, explorable open sections, and a plot distilled into purest trope juice from the countless sci-fi anime. It's been affectionately, or perhaps critically, dubbed Near Automata for Dummies. I've never once heard somebody call it that.
Yeah, I have never heard that being said. Dude, this article is just full of malice and reaching.
And if that
This is why no one respects games journalists, and this is like a prime example of the article. It's just a bunch of lies. It's just a bunch of things nobody cares about, and it's just self glorification in the strangest ways.
actually is the case, it is by a journo. But this is an absolutely insane take because I'm gonna try to not spoil it for you. But the story, while yes, at times can be kind of predictable, it really isn't the worst in terms of predictability. There are a lot of twists and turns. How do I explain this without spoiling? Like, Mother Sphere was created for the purpose of advancing humankind, and like experimentations went wrong, and humans evolved into these like vicious monsters called the Natibas. They only really wanted to kill new humans. Then there were people who were experimenting, and it's got a lot of lore when you actually sit down and you fucking pay attention, but these people would actually have to play the game in order to know the story, and clearly they're not
Eh.
doing that. It says,
Eh.
though, that Stellar Blade embraces fan service with an unapologetic zeal. Eve's design is central
Oh no! The horror! Please more.
to the game's aesthetic, and the user reviews often highlight the shameless, thirsty camera angles with a mix of humor and appreciation. The overt embrace of a certain visual appeal isn't just a passive element, it actively
Oh no! A woman being treated as hot. If all God knows women don't like being thought of as hot. God, someone should tell Kim Kardashian that she didn't need to like completely make half of her body into silicone. Oh man, how did we go so wrong?
fuels another significant driver of its PC success, the modding community. While it would be reductive to attribute Stellar Blade's success solely to the availability of nude mods, it's undeniable that this immediate and enthusiastic embrace by modders taps into a powerful, albeit unspoken segment of the PC gaming demographic.
God, please. This article needs to call them man children, sexists, misogynists, and uh, people who only think as women's as objects. Okay, this article needs to do that. I please do.
In the Venn diagram of horny weebs and people who want a sequel to Nier Automata already clearly has a substantial overlap, and Stellar Blade has effectively catered to both. Why are you so bothered by that? Why are you truly so upset with the fact that people are getting content that they've asked
The reason that this person is, by the way, upset with it is just the fact that they're probably a woke leftist, and the fact that these people cannot comprehend, and they absolutely detest anything that succeeds and does not go align with their tenets of their own ideology. They hate it because nothing that goes against their ideology is allowed to succeed because that is a fundamental problem for these people because it shows that their worldview is incorrect. And again, like, how are you incorrect so many times in a row about everything and that doesn't make you rethink your life choices? Like, how is that possible? Are these people beyond saving, honestly?
ask for content that companies know are going to make money. It's really not that big of a deal. Of course, we also here have Destructoid saying the mods are overflowing with risque content as satisfied gamers quench their thirst in the Steam review. So they're saying that, of course, a lot of these mods are straight up pornography because, of
Oh
course, they are. And of
no.
course, that's what gamers would end up downloading.
41%, just a random number that, by the way, someone actually dug up from. I'm assuming this is just a random number that a game journalist lied about, and they wrote it in the article. We talked about it yesterday.
And that's the only reason why this is successful. Vice has also said that Stellar Blade's PC
The hell is
launch
this?
breaks Steam records thanks to its thirsty fan base, and this is just an absurd angle to take. Yes, again, I do think that modding is a part of it, but I do not believe that modding and sex appeal is the only thing that sold this game, because we've seen plenty of titles come out over the years that have had a large amount of sex appeal and fan service, but they weren't massively successful, like the First Descendant, for example. Anybody can jump into that. You don't
The first Descendant is. Is it not actually successful? Let's check. I think the first Descendant is actually pretty decent. The first Descendant Steam DB. Let's check. I thought it's actually still doing pretty well in general. Um, well, it's not doing amazingly. It had a peak of 260k players. I'll share the screen. That's going to be a little bit easier. Here you go. So it had a peak of 264k 11 months ago, and now it has been dropping off to an average of, well, around 7k ish players, which is not great. Obviously not great at all, but it's not bad. And here we have some kind of expansions that are actually, getting people back in slightly. So it's not dealing well. It's not doing amazingly, but honestly, the First Descendant is not really dying. And the problem with First Descendant was it's just the gameplay loops and everything wasn't that great. It got repetitive really fast. But the First Descendant is all in all a relatively decent game as far as I can tell. I haven't played the First Descendant, but as far as I understand, it's still a decent game.
have to, in theory, spend any money on it, and you can give it a go. But at the end of the day, while yes, the visuals are beautiful and a lot of the characters look fantastic, and I do think that the gameplay is kind of fun, it gets really repetitive really quickly, and the sex appeal cannot make up for a lot of the mid features that are in the game, and just how the title really truly is lacking in a lot of areas like the story. I think that they actually need to recalibrate their fucking brains here and actually
Base.
pay attention to the feedback that games like this get. Sure. I do think that that would be asking too much of these people to actually sit down and play a game and
Asking anything of those people is first a mistake. You don't want to hear the answer, probably, to honestly. Second, it's not like they're ever going to be able to learn. Anyway, that was Mommy. Very dark. 10 out of 10. Bye.